All right, my friends. Hey, it's a Sunday evening, and you're watching Sports Talk with BWatts Entertainment, and I'm your host, Bernard Watts. We have a special guest for you tonight, RK, DNBR, one of the popular podcasts on the airways of YouTube. And you already know we got RobDaManMedia and the legendary himself, Coach Drake, out of the state of Florida, joining the broadcast tonight. We got a good broadcast for you tonight. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this broadcast. This broadcast is brought to you by Ameris Bank, right there in the city of Jackson, Georgia. You want to thank them for sponsoring this show this entire month. And they reached back out to me and said they would like to continue to sponsor this show, and we will get them on the airways just like we promised. All right. So if you have any banking needs like checking, savings, CDs, bank loans, all you got to do is just give them a call at 770-775-8300 and tell them you heard it right here on Sports Talk with B Watts Entertainment. All right. Well, hey, let me bring the guys up and we're going to get right into Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes football team. Yes, we are. Hey, first of all, before I bring them up, I got to give some shout outs over there on my LinkedIn page. Got some former and retired NFL players who registered and messaged me, said they'll be tuned in. Garrison Hurst, you know, and he's the former running back for the Georgia Bulldogs. Shout out to him. And also Sterling Sharp, who is the brother of Shannon Sharp. I want to give a shout out to them also. All right. All right. So let's bring the guys up and we're going to get this show right on the road. Yes, we is.
What's up?
Yo,
What's up, y'all?
What's
what up,
going on, buddy?
RK? What up?
What's
How
going on,
y'all
guys?
feeling? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling today? Everybody have a good Sunday?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
been
Okay.
sir.
great.
Yes, sir.
All
So I
Thank you
right.
for
was,
having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad you accept my invitation. First of all, like I said, I appreciate you. I be checking you out. I didn't even know nothing about your broadcast. The Raw Demand Media told me about it. And every day I've been hooked. I don't get a chance to catch it live, but I always watch the replay. And I like the things that you did. Y'all doing over there. I want to give a shout out to Jake also. One day we're gonna try to get him on. Just like I said, I like y'all the way y'all balance each other out. Y'all do a good job, and I'm praying that y'all can continue to be successful over there on y'all podcast and y'all show.
Thank you so much, man. It's the pleasure is all ours, man. We have so much fun doing that show, and as you guys know, man, it's a dream for me to be able to talk about Colorado football every day as at least part of my job.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing. And when I put it over there on Instagram, man, all kind of message came along, and one of the coaches, Coach Hart, said, "I will be tuning in," and he hit me like, "Boy," he said,
That's
"You
my
his
guy.
boy." He said, "You know what he showed told me." He messaged me. He said, "That's my dog." I said, "All right, doc." But let's get into the show. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long. Know y'all busy and everything, and let's get right into the show. Hey, I want to jump right onto it. That's Juju Lewis. He wore a towel when he was throwing the ball out there in camp. He wore his shorts of CU at lunch. Start with you, RK. You all guess. What's the legitimate percentage you think Coach Prime in Colorado can land Juju Lewis as a quarterback for next year?
Man, I honestly think it's around 50%. I think they have a really good chance, maybe even a little over 50%. But I'm feeling confident about it. I've heard some interesting rumblings throughout the last couple weeks. There's kind of a lot of kind of rumors floating around on all sides of this story. But
Right.
I was talking about this with Jake, I think, on Friday, and it was just like, yeah, you could say the gear that he's wearing around is a big nothing, or you could think about it if it were you, right?
Right.
If you were committed to a school, wouldn't you be repping their colors every single day? I would. Like if you're 100% locked in somewhere, well, you'd be rocking with them. It's the opposite seems to be true of Juju. I can't remember the last time I saw him, wearing something with USC on it, and now he's wearing, his Colorado gear all the time. I don't think that's, the deciding factor might just like the gear and whatever. But I think it's an interesting window into the way he's thinking when he's going to the closet or going to his drawers in the morning trying to figure out what he's going to put on. Like that CU stuff is standing him. So I think they've got a great chance. The relationship that Coach Prime has built with not just Juju but his father, I think, is going to go a really long way in this recruiting process. And I don't know, I love having that last visit. That's the thing that's fresh on his mind anytime he's thinking about where he wants to go. And I think that when push comes to shove, something that we've been talking about a lot is just how perfect of a fit it is. I don't know if there's a more perfect quarterback to be the heir apparent to Shedeur Sanders as he goes out into the NFL than Juju Lewis. And I think that when all is said and done, that'll be the reason why he's a Buff.
Oh, okay. What you think, Rod? Then Coach Dre?
And I mean, RK hit it right there on the head. This is going to be about the relationship of of his dad TC with Coach Prime. That marriage, because of the relationship that Juju had with his dad. When you look at just the relationship that they have and the way Prime and Shedeur has that good relationship going on, it just mirrors everything that they looking for the relationship wise. Colorado offers those type of things. So like I've been saying, I think it's about a 75-25 Colorado. But that's just me speaking. So I don't want nobody to take that out of turn. That's just me speaking. But that's where I stand at with it. I just look at the relationships. But man, it's great to have RK on. It's been a long time coming. So appreciate the DNVR and RK showing us love.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you guys showing me love.
At the end of the day, like you say, I got 70-30 with him coming to Colorado. Like I say, just be patient. This is the biggest decision of a kid's life. And I don't want to get caught up in the hoopla and the this and that and the third. But like RK said, if that's my team and I'm 100% committed to that team, I'm repping that team when I go out here to rivals and this camp and that camp because I want to put this team on alert and I want to recruit other great kids. So other kids see me with the USC gear on. Hey, so yeah, Juju locked in with USC. He going to USC. But now when I come out and I'm rocking the Colorado gear, that puts the thought process in other people's minds and heads. So like I say, I got 30-70, but again, I'm not gonna ride the roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? He's a hell of a kid. For those who didn't know, I did get to go out and check out a couple of the rivals workouts because I'm down here. And he's as advertised. He's as advertised. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. And like everybody say, RK, we get to talk in a special ways every now and then. And I appreciate you coming on, bro. I rock with you.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate that.
Okay. I appreciate that, y'all, on Juju. All right, let's look at the recruiting. What happened this week. Jay Gardenhire, 6'8", 350 pounds, offensive lineman. And on that Monday, Chauncey Gooden, 6'4", 320. What that says about Coach Prime and his recruiting staff. We'll start with you, Coach Dre.
I mean, again, you got to tip your hats off to the recruiting staff, and you got to tip your hat off to Coach Lohos. What they're telling you is that we building a wall that we're gonna be able to protect the quarterback, whoever it is, and that we're replacing the guys that's leaving. Benson will be leaving, Maris will be leaving. There's a possibility that if Brown wants to leave, he can, but we're making sure that we have quality kids that's coming in to take the place of the guys that's leaving. You have to tip your hats to this recruiting staff. I think we got the best recruiting staff in the country, and what Coach Lodeholst has done in this short period of time that he's been at the University of Colorado. Hey, all you can do is tip your hats to him because he's went out and he's got top-notch offensive linemen to protect Shedeur and for the future of the Colorado Buffaloes for the next couple of years. So all you can do is tip your hat to the recruiting staff and Coach Lohos.
And it's a fresh sight to see for those that's been following Colorado before Coach Prime, which I know RK is going to talk about.
Oh yeah, I got the question for him for
It's
that.
yeah, it's a good feeling to go out and understand that we are recruiting on the offensive line, that we are doing our due diligence and finding the right players who want to be in Boulder. Not everybody can play in Boulder. So finding those pieces that want to be there and not just there, just to have fun, but there because they want to. This is what they want to do. It's a fresh air. I've been in Colorado since 2016, so I understand the ups and downs of Colorado football and what it was like when you talk about Colorado football. People wasn't really talking about it. You hear more about the Denver Broncos, you hear more about the Nuggets, but once Prime came, now it just went up, and now you can't go without seeing a Colorado jersey walking around Colorado now. So it's definitely a fresh breath of air to see. You got to give your hands out to this recruiting team, Coach Field, and the job he's done establishing the guys that he wants, the prototypical size that he's looking for in the recruiting team. Going to go watch the film, go get them. So just shout outs to them because that's a huge piece, and they're going to continue to recruit big. So as we grow on this journey, you can start to see the foundation of these pieces building every single day. And they're not just looking at 5-star, 4-star, but they're looking at the pieces that's going to fit to one day to be the future buff.
I love it. And I would just add as it relates to the offensive line, I think the offensive line and the way that it's been recruited is a perfect kind of microcosm of the kind of grand plan for what they're doing at Colorado. So much has been made about how they've gone into the transfer portal and all they get is transfers and they don't recruit high school. And that was phase one. When you're taking a 1-11 program and trying to turn them around as fast as possible, like you are going to have to hit the transfer portal and hit it harder immediately. Well, they did that last year. They did that this year as well with the offensive line, but you're starting to see the offensive line recruiting go into phase two. Jordan Seaton, Chauncey Gooden, Jay Gardenhire, and everyone says you can't build a line through the portal. You can't build a line through the portal. I think that's going to be put to the test this year. But moving forward, the rest of the roster is going to start to look more like the offensive line, where it's okay. You got what you needed to win immediately. Now you can backfill the roster with those young guys, bring them up underneath those transfers, and then you have those those homegrown lines that usually are a catalyst for championship teams.
Good take, good take. Now, okay, you was up there when they went 1-11. How was it when it was 1-11 around Boulder, Colorado?
It was tough, man. That was the lowest. It's the lowest of the low. A lot of my friends stopped going to games. A couple of them dropped their season tickets and weren't even able to get them back when Coach Prime got there. So that was tough for them. But it was rough. Like you were going to the games for the tailgate before the game, and a lot of people were leaving by halftime. It was so hard to see because for me, that this is my first love when it comes to sports. So I was never gonna, walk out on them or cancel my season tickets or anything like that. But as the pillars around you start to fall in that way and people aren't showing up and everyone's got extra tickets to every game, it was honestly depressing. So, we during that time on the podcast, which I wasn't even a full-time member of Buffs at that time, and we were only doing it, I think, a couple times a week. But I just remember talking like this next hire is the most important in program history because the fan base is hanging on by a thread. And so credit to Rick George for, swinging for the fences, going out there and getting Coach Prime to kind of to save this whole thing and start to turn it around because it was really ugly and honestly a really sad place to be, during that season.
Man, to actually get a technical win back 2-10 that season, it was a rough one in Colorado. I can say that hands down. Went to a couple games that season. It was brutal. But the minute Coach Prime got hired, you could just tell like a fresh air just came through Colorado, and the town just flipped upside down. So just to see that microwave happen, from just going from that season playing up into Prime getting hired, You heard whispers in Colorado, but you didn't know if it was going to be true. That was the thing. And when it officially became true, that's when it was just like a big party in Colorado. I can say that with Prime.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but just to bring it back to current date, and even going back to Juju Lewis and last weekend, I think that was last weekend, is the way that it has turned. We were like Rob and I were just saying, like, it was ugly. Everyone was out. There was no buzz. And then when Coach Prime came, the buzz started to come back. And I think this is what people that are looking at this from a national perspective really don't see and don't understand, is the way that Coach Prime has revitalized the brand that is Colorado football already, and revitalized the energy within the city. Seeing the Sink making a burger for Juju, and seeing the Boulder Theater put his name on their marquee, and fans lining the streets waiting for Juju Lewis to come up to campus, was just that, like, in 1 year, not only did Coach Prime bring it back, but he's already brought it to new heights. And I think that's the thing that gets missed the most when people are like, "Oh, why are Colorado fans so obsessed with Coach Prime?" They won 4 games in his first year, and it's just like, you don't understand where it came from and then what he's already gotten it to in just 1 year's time.
Hey, RK, just talk about the level of where Boulder has went. Right, the evolution of Boulder, and how all the businesses are more involved with the program than where they used to be. Those things go unnoticed and don't get talked about, because if you're not in the realm, or you don't know what it was before then, you don't know like what it used to be. So to see it is just refreshing.
Yeah, I mean, it's what Boulder is seeing kind of reminds me a lot of like what I've always said about why a university should embrace their football program, because your football program is your ultimate window into your university. How many different times have we seen a team like, I know they're on our shit list right now, but like Oregon, they got it going. And when I was in high school, all the kids that were in my school that weren't going to go to CU or CSU wanted to go to Oregon because that was the cool and hot school at that time. And so I've always said, all these universities should be investing as much as they can in the football program as much as they can, because it'll pay you back tenfold in applications and interest in the school. Well, the same is true of the city, and I think the city is starting to learn that now in almost a reverse engineered way. It's like everyone got a glimpse last year as every hotel was sold out, every single restaurant was and Saturdays, and so the city is now learning, oh, it actually benefits us too for Colorado football to be good. And now, I don't know if anything's out there official yet, but I've heard from some of the people that work at the collective that there's some partnerships that are going to come together this season between some of the businesses and the NIL collective and stuff like that. And so it's really cool to just see the city understand the value. It's not just about football and wins and losses. It's about the local economy. It's about the community and everything, and the people of the city coming together to join forces to point their sails all in one direction.
Hey, so again, that's for all you people in the back that's in here. You heard what he said. It ain't just about football. And we've been telling y'all that for months. It's not just about football. Prime bringing something else to the city of Boulder and to the state of Colorado. The same thing he did to Jackson. You have to tip your hat off to a guy who can do that. It's not a lot of them in the world. It's not a lot of football coaches that can come and change a culture in a matter of months. And now he's just revitalizing that culture and making Colorado what it was in the late 80s, early 90s. And so when I tell people I support Coach Prime, that's why. Because you don't see that from a lot of coaches. And what he's doing for young men. Again, I don't say other schools are not doing what he's doing. But if you're doing it, show me that you're doing it. Because Coach Prime is showing you what he's doing for kids that you know are not stars. He's making them stars. And what he's doing for the city of Boulder. Like I say, I keep remembering that first, like a couple of the first well-off videos. And the lady was in tears because it seemed like they might was finna go out of business because the economy was so bad and they couldn't keep open. And she knew just with him coming what it would bring to her business and putting them back. So not only is he helping these kids, but look at what he's helping to these businesses. And so you gotta, like you said, you gotta support your team or get behind somebody, but support them for a purpose. I always hear people say that they stand on business. But as for me, in mine right now, it's SOP. We're going to stand on purpose. Coach Prime got a purpose. And so before you can stand on business, you got to stand on purpose. So, you got to just clap your hands for what he's done. And I'm glad that he came to Denver and did that for you guys, RK. I mean, it's a blessing for him to be a blessing.
And don't forget about the walk-ons that's in multiple commercials that people forget about.
Oh,
don't forget about that.
I saw that. That's this their third one, right?
For some of them, this their first one, but there are some players of freshmen, not freshmen, walk-ons that are on their second and third commercial with Coach Prime.
Okay. Okay. The NCAA rule on limited coaching staff on the football team. What kind of effect that gonna have on college football?
It's really interesting, man, and I think the original effect is not even going to really be noticed. Only because all these schools were already doing this. They were just hiding it in terms of letting their analysts coach on the field and letting their quality control guys coach on the field. That was just it's honestly why they changed the rule, because the NCAA said, why do we have this rule that we can't police and everyone is breaking? With that being said, I think more and more teams are going to start to find loopholes and ways to use their connections to bring powerful people onto their staffs and let them coach. And obviously, no one is more well positioned to take advantage of it than Coach Prime. In the past, let's just say T.O. is coming up to visit for camp practice. Technically, he's not allowed to work one-on-one with the wide receivers on campus with, during a workout. Well, if they wanted to, they could now just, slap an analyst title on him or a quality control title on him and, sign him to some tiny contract, and then, he can go out there and work on the field with them. On a larger scale, just for example, like Bill Belichick, isn't working this year. If Coach Prime or someone else, I'm sure if Saban was still coaching, he'd have Bill Belichick down there in Tuscaloosa. Like, these guys can now come into school and work while they're maybe in a gap year for their professional careers. And then they don't have to do this silly thing where they're hiding the on-field instruction, and those guys can actually help the kids. In the end, the people who benefit from this most is the players, because they're going to be able to get more hands-on instruction from, great football minds.
Again, that's what it comes down to. Who does it benefit the most? Kids. Because now I can have maybe 2 or 3 coaches at a position, but also I think it helps special teams the most. Because now, like RK was saying, they were trying to hide it. You had to be in the room with the special teams coordinator because he was an analyst or a quality control coach. Well, now he doesn't have to do that. Now he's the man who can be on the field. Who's been the voice they've been hearing in practice is the guy that they're going to hear during the game. So I think the biggest benefit is for the kids. But RK hit it on the head. If y'all don't believe that Bill Belichick ain't gonna be up there in Washington with his son, who the defensive coordinator for the Washington Huskies, like, I don't know what to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's who is gonna really help. So it's like he said, it's just now you ain't gonna be able to do it in the dark. So the NCAA was just saying, I'm tired of trying to catch somebody, or we don't catch you until somebody tell. So just give you unlimited coaches and give you the opportunity to go out there. Like I said, the people that's gonna help the most is special teams in my book. I think it will help the special teams to the most.
I was gonna say the same thing. But when I look at this, I just think it's everything ties down to the NCAA just tired of policing. That's it. Until something major happens, they trying to take everything out of their hands, out of their control. Because you've seen it with the money first and paying players. That's been happening for forever. Having NILs and collectives. Now it's the coaching. They finally allowing coaches to have tablets on the sidelines to break down plays and stuff and help. So it's just going little by little. The NCAA is trying to take their hands off of everything, so they don't have to police everything. That's really what it's starting to come down to now.
Okay. All right. Good take, fellas. If you're tuning in right now, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Sports Talk with BWatts Entertainment, along with RobDaManMedia and Coach Dre, and our special guest, DNVR. If you're in the chat, you got a question that you want RK to answer, we ask that you put it down in the chat, and we will try to get it to you before we get off the air. Got 350 people tuning in right now. We appreciate each and one of you for tuning in. And also, if you don't mind, go to each one of our uh, YouTube page, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's talk football now and talk about the players. All right, starting with you.
Yes, sir.
Which freshman on Colorado will have a breakout year in 2024? Can't name one.
Yeah. So we actually talked about this recently on our show, and I kind of said, like, I think Jordan Seaton's already too on the map to have a breakout season. So I'm removing him from the conversation.
Oh, man, you
Behind,
can't do that, Jay.
at
Okay,
least for me,
okay.
I'll go a different direction.
All
I
right.
think it's gonna be Michael Welch. Now there's a bunch of
I knew them
options.
two were going to say that. That's why I asked that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of options. I like the idea of Cam Michael going in there and maybe playing a little bit of the role that they had envisioned for Dylan Edwards, of
Yeah,
coming out of the backfield, using his speed, being a weapon in that regard. But
right.
Micah was just so consistent in spring practice, and he's honestly kind of just the model of consistency as a student athlete, which is not something that you say often about a freshman who's only been on campus for a couple months. To me, he doesn't carry himself like a freshman whatsoever. He doesn't act like a freshman. He doesn't practice like a freshman. And I would be curious to ask him. I don't even know if he considers himself a freshman. He was an early enrollee. He's been around for a little while now. He kind of just acts like he's been here, done that, and I love that about him. So one of the biggest things for freshmen coming in is adjusting, and you've got you got school, and you got your social life, and you've got football, and you're trying to balance all these things. To me, it just kind of seems like he doesn't worry about any of that. He's just kind of like, this is what I do. This is easy.
Yeah.
So I'm banking on the fact that he's going to continue to make it easy, look easy on the football field.
Coach Ray?
I mean, he hit it on the head. I mean, I think I said this months ago when the kid, when they had their first meeting, and I looked that kid in the face, and I was just like, this kid ain't here to play. He feels he's as good as anybody in this running back room, and I can make it happen. I remember Coach Prime looking at him and saying, hey, I don't have a problem with a freshman leading this room. And then when you go to break it down, and he steps right up and breaks it down like, hey, I'm letting you know I'm here. You have to believe in Michael Welch. I believe he's going to be running back number 2 after the fall camp is over with. I just believe in that kid. He goes about business the way that you want kids to go about business. He never wavered. He never wavered in his commitment. He was steady that I'm going to be a Colorado Buffalo. I'm going to come in here and do my job, and I'm going to come in here and show people that true freshmen can come in here and contribute to a team like the Colorado Buffaloes. So you got to tip your hat on. Is for me, I'm just like RK. It's Michael Welch, and he been on my radar since he first walked in the door.
Man, I mean, we all had pretty much the same answer, Michael Welch. I always say one of the two players I really got my eyes on after them will be a kid, Brandon Hood. You're gonna see some explosive plays out of him out of the backfield. And I'm really want to see what they're gonna do with Draylon Miller. Those would be my next two guys. After Michael Welch, just due to the fact of Jordan Season's going to be out there, man. it's just too easy. That's just too easy of an obvious answer. So, those would be my three that I'll be looking for from a breakout from the freshmen.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. Oh yeah. Got a super chat there from CU Buff Dynasty. Okay, you're what is it? What is it? With the guys. Okay. All right.
Sir.
Appreciate you for that. But yeah, excuse me. Excuse me. Also I had another one. Internet act right. But before we move on, let's look at excuse me. Okay. I saw the interview with ATO, Taquifa Thomas, and Big Zach Owen that y'all did on DNVR. What did you take from interviewing them guys?
Man, I took a lot, and I said I say this after every interview we do. Anytime I meet these guys, I come away just knowing that Coach Prime actually means it when he says smart, tough, fast, disciplined with character. That part always stands out to me when I get to meet these guys in person, or just talk to them, on over a show like this. But aside from that, what really stood out to me was just the bond that those guys created so quickly. As three guys who are playing different positions, you got a wide receiver, an offensive lineman, and a defensive lineman. And Coach Prime has placed such a premium this year on chemistry and building relationships with your teammates. And it's so natural. I mean, even in the NFL locker rooms that I've been in, it's very natural for position groups to gravitate towards each other. And, most of the big friendships to be between guys who play the same position. They're out on the field together all day, every day. But for these three guys who come from three different parts of the country and play three different positions, to come in and immediately be fast friends and, just, as they were saying during that show, like they spend every day together. They do everything together. They go out to eat together. They play video games together. Like, it just shows me that this team is actually really taken to that. And whatever the staff and the players are doing to try and, follow through on building that chemistry is really working.
Okay. All right. Question, gonna start off with you, Coach Ray. When we look at the Big 12 conference, we lost Oklahoma and Texas. Who who get the benefit from being in the Big 12? Coach Prime or the Big 12 conference?
The Big 12 conference definitely is the person that benefits. CU becomes the cash cow. You lost your biggest two schools. You lost Texas and Oklahoma, the people that were bringing the money to the Big 12. And that's no disrespect to Kansas, and that's no disrespect to Oklahoma State. But at the end of the day, you had to go out and bring somebody in that could bring back the revenue that you were losing with Texas and Oklahoma, because that's big time football. That's so them getting Colorado with Coach Prime is their benefit, because now they're probably going to make more money than they probably would have made with Texas and Oklahoma, because some people feel Oklahoma might have been falling off to a lesser degree. Texas was still, Texas was becoming Texas again, but Oklahoma was falling off a little bit. So it's definitely a step. It's definitely better for the Big 12, not for Colorado, because if things keep going the way it is, and they try to make these mega conferences, you can believe that somebody like the SEC or the Big Ten will come knocking at the door, because this school brings the money. They have the faces, they have the flair, and they have the what you're looking for when you look, like I say, college big time football. I mean, big time money football. And you got to be able to have a cash cow. And to me, in the Big 12, there's no bigger cash cow than the University of Colorado and Coach Prime. So yeah, the Big 12 is the winner, not Colorado going to the Big 12. Is the Big 12 being able to acquire the University of Colorado and their services for their conference.
What you think, RK?
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. And to take it back to just, this idea of why Coach Prime has been such an asset already to the university. If it weren't for Coach Prime, would Colorado even be in the Big 12 right now? Or would they be like Oregon State and Washington State, left homeless
Yeah.
due to the poor management of the Pac-12? I don't know the answer to that, and I honestly, obviously the Denver market is a valuable asset that Colorado will always bring with it, but Coach Prime, bringing Colorado back into the national spotlight last year made such a big difference, and I love what Coach said, like. As we move closer to what I think will be a 2-conference system in college football, everyone's kind of auditioning for the reason that they should be part of that. And I kind of have a unique view of this as we're speaking with advertisers and things like that. Selling our show, it's like this is no longer about the Denver market when it comes to Colorado. Coach Prime makes Colorado a national product, and just looking at the numbers of our show, it's literally Denver mixed in with all of the places that Coach Prime went during his NFL career, and Jackson, Mississippi. Like, wherever he goes, people follow, and they don't leave after that. They want to, they're invested in Coach Prime and everything that he does. So when these conferences are adding schools, it's usually for money. They want a bigger product to be able to pitch to the next media deal that they sign. And so whether it's the SEC or the Big Ten, and as I've joked for a long time, the State Farm Conference and the All-State Conference eventually, they're going to be adding, maybe 20 teams each, maybe a little more. They're going to look at Colorado as long as Coach Prime's still there and say, okay, well, we know that's an asset that we want because they're a top 5 most watched team in the country every year.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, the question comes down to is, who's coming out to Colorado next? It ain't even about them being in the Big 12. I love them being in the Big 12, being back where they should have been at. They should have never left, but we understand money talks, right?
Right.
The national brand of Colorado, what brings the stakes higher, what makes it like, okay, these two teams walked out, but we got a brand. Not only is it the brand is blowing up, but it's national headlines. No matter where you go, you're going to see Colorado. I don't care what TV station you turn on, it's going to be some type of headway talking about Colorado. And so you just got to love what you see, what Coach Prime has did with this university to put them back on a national level, right, where it belongs at, to be back in those glory days or where they was at. It's just amazing to see and continue to grow. And as this thing continue to grow, the national companies, right? Just think about it. We had Fox and ESPN fighting on the same weekend to have Coach Prime up there speaking. So it just goes to show you how much of a national brand Colorado Buffaloes are. And even for the casual fan who don't care nothing about Colorado, they're tuned in just because Coach Prime.
Like that take from all 3 of y'all. Appreciate that. All right, Coach Ray, start this one off. When we look at the coaching staff, Coach Prime got some coaches that he trusts this year. Compare this coaching staff this year to last year, and after you, RK, and then Rob.
I mean, don't no disrespect to the men he hired last year. But at the end of the day, 2 of those guys that he hired, they wanted to come help their brother. The coach from IMG, he said, I could not sit on the couch another minute and know I could help my brother and not come help him. Warren Sapp was the same way when he left there last year, from being in there and seeing how these kids want to soak up the knowledge that he had to give. There's no way I'm going to leave my brother down like this. I'm going to go and find a way to help. So the biggest thing is you got people, because head coaches sign up for this. They sign up to share the fame and take the blame. And at the end of the day, I have coaches that don't want to see me have to take the blame for stuff that maybe he shouldn't have to. So I'm going to do everything I can to make this a better team. And you got to have a family-oriented group. And I hear the offensive linemen say that they go out with Coach Loadhouse. He's invited them to their homes for dinner and stuff like that. All that matters to kids. I don't think people realize that matters to ball players. They are still human beings. They're still really young men trying to find their way in the world, and they're looking. Some of them are looking for father figures and role models. And so you have to take that coach hat off and become that father figure that they're looking for. And that's what I see this year with this staff. And again, that's no disrespect to anybody that was on that staff last year. Also, Charles Kelly comes in. He's a national championship football coach. He has a system that he's going to run because I have won with my system. I go out and hire a Livingston who comes in and says, "Hey, I'm going to do what's best for all of these kids to excel because I'm going to do what's best for this team." And like I said, there's no disrespect to Coach Kelly because he has won a national championship, had top defenses, and put multiple kids in the NFL. But what I like about this young Livingston coach is, hey, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna evaluate my talent, see what they do best, and I'm gonna play to their strengths. And like I said, you gotta love that. And again, I think you just have a better bond of coaches. And then when you have the nucleus of the three that's been together for 20 years, which is him, Hart, and Mathis, you can never go wrong with those guys because you know at the end of the day, these guys done had my back for the last 20 years. They're gonna always stand behind me. They're gonna always rock with me, and that's gonna always take a coach a long way when you have guys that's gonna always rock with you through thick and thin.
When it comes to Coach Prime, it's about relationships. I think last year. Well, I don't think some of last year's hire was off the face of somebody that he knew for somebody else to do them a favor. This year was more about relationships and understanding. If I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down with the guys that I know. The guys I know that's got my back that don't want to see me lose. The guys that's gonna go 110 far as effort wise on and off the field that's gonna help these kids get better and grow to get to their next journey. Whether that's in the NFL or whether that's out in life, far as their next job and connecting them with the right people. That's not just about football. And those are the things that I think people forget about. It's not just about the people that he's hiring in there, but every person that he's hired has got a connection with somebody outside of football that can help each and one of these players on this team. And so those are the things that get missing the way Coach Prime built his coaching staff this year. And those are the things that you got to love is seeing all these things come together and the unity that comes with this and the chemistry and the rules that they're making of no phones at the lunch table, right? Making these players have to talk to each other. So those are the parts that you just love, that the little small detailed things is what's going to help us win football games. And you can see it each and every day of them small detailed things. And it's like when you watch videos from well off and reach the people, how much more connected do you see these players this year than you did last year? That's a contest to the coaching staff, them having to, push them in the right way to understand, like, listen, the only way we can do this is about communication, bonding as brothers, bonding as men, coming together. This ain't a dictatorship. We want you to all win, but we got to do it this way. So you just got to love what you see.
I love what you guys said, and I completely agree. Especially when it comes to building the foxhole, the guys that you want in the foxhole with you. Um, the one thing that I would add about this year's coaching staff is one of the things that makes Coach Prime a genius is his branding and marketing abilities.
Okay.
Primetime itself, was a marketing or a branding tool. Um, this staff, one of the things that was a strength for them in recruiting last year was this idea of preparing players for the NFL. Coach Prime being a gold jacket Hall of Famer, being able to help prepare guys for what it's going to be like when they go there. That's all of these guys' dreams. That's where they want to go. And one of the things of branding and marketing is leaning into your strengths. So I think Coach Prime looked at that and said, okay, this is something that's working really well for us. Let's double down on it. So let's go get Phil Loadholt, who's basically just out of the NFL. Let's get Robert Livingston, an NFL defensive coach, and so on and so forth. Warren Sapp, add him, another gold jacket to the staff. And now it's kind of like, okay, Colorado is where you want to go if you want to be treated like a pro, if you want to be coached like a pro. If your dream is to play in the NFL, no place will prepare you for that more than Colorado. It's honestly like the college version of what IMG is like for high school. Kids that go to IMG are going there because they are saying this is the way you get prepared to play college football. You'll be treated like a college football player here. My dream is to go up to the next level, so I'm going to go there. Colorado is kind of becoming the IMG to college football. If you're trying to go to the NFL, this is the place to do it because you will be treated like a professional here and you're going to be coached like a professional here.
Oh man, that's a good take. Good take. Good take. Good take. Okay, starting with you. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, you look at the linebackers position. Who's your project starters? Way too early project starters at the linebacker position for Colorado this year.
Yeah, first and foremost, I think I start with Nakai Hill-Green. That's a guy who just all it took was about 5 minutes of me talking to him to say that guy's a captain. I think that he'll have the L for leader on his uniform come week one, and you love having that type of player, that type of personality at linebacker, a guy who can be a vocal leader, a guy who's going to lead by example. To me, one of the more impressive additions from the portal that they got. He's just everything to me that you want in a college inside linebacker. So I've got him starting there. And then honestly, I got to start with Levante Bentley. He really came on strong towards the end of last year. And I think it's going to be a battle to see who gets that spot. But I thought he played some of his best football at the end of last year. And so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he keeps that momentum rolling. I think he was tied for the team lead in sacks, which is impressive, and was up there in tackles for loss. So he's really good coming downhill, and I've got him there for now.
Okay.
I mean, I agree on what Arcade said to the T. I mean, you got to go with Bentley right now until somebody proves it differently. Now, I do love the depth that we have at the linebacker position this year. It's more improved than what we had last year. When you got Trevor Wood still there, you got Chainsaw that's there. You got a couple freshman linebackers. You got Webster that's there that's going to pop off the film. So you got a little bit of everything in that linebacker room. Now it's just all about getting on the field and let's put it all together. And just let these the biggest thing with these linebackers is we improved up front, which is going to allow these linebackers to play freely. And that's all we want. Let the linebackers play freely and go make plays. And as long as we do that, man, we're gonna have a thing going this year.
I mean, there's no doubt about Nakai Hill-Green. Like RK said, I saw an interview with that kid, and then I went and saw his page, and hey, he everything you looking for in a great young man, and then a great inside linebacker, no doubt about it. And that's no disrespect to anybody else. You got to go with Bentley because if Bentley's not out there, that means someone's playing well. But my dark horse is Chainsaw Chaney. I
Yep.
like that kid. Maybe biased because he's from down here and he played, and I got to see him play at FAMU. He's what you're looking for when you're talking about sideline to sideline linebacker, tracking people down. He has what you can't teach. He has that dog mentality. And so he is my dark horse. But like I say, I love the depth. You saw that Jeremiah Brown looks like the Jeremiah Brown from Jackson State. That's what I saw in the spring when I looked at the spring tape. He looked like, if you go back and look at the Jackson tape and you look at this in this spring, he looks like the guy from Jackson State. And then Webster, he's another great kid. So I think that the biggest thing is that we have depth. To be a great team, you got to have quality backup. I'll keep telling people that. To be a great team, you have to have quality backup. And I think that's what we have this year. We have quality backup. So that's what I got at linebacker.
Okay. Top 5 teams in the Big 12.
Ooh, okay. In no particular order. Is that okay to start?
Right. Yeah, yeah. No particular order.
All right. Colorado, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Arizona. Oh, I forgot Utah. Let me throw Utah in there
Okay.
instead of Arizona.
Instead of Arizona, I'll just say, what make you put Arizona now? Okay. You clean that. All right, I got you. Coach Ray, top 5.
Like I say, in no particular order: CU, Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I'm gonna throw UCF in there because I think they might surprise some people in Utah.
I'm
Rob.
going to see you, Kansas State. Like Coach Dre said, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked by UCF, and what they have. Utah, and the 5th one, I'm gonna go Oklahoma State.
Okay. All right. Got a super chat here. Sweet Pea. I love you, RK. What made you, RobDaManMedia, move to Colorado? BWatts and Coach Ray. Hey, how you doing, Sweet Pea?
Love you too.
My job moved me out to Colorado. So that's why I've been there since 2016. So.
All right.
Let me see. Got the most super chat. I overlooked these things. See you, Buff Dynasty. My guys are cooking on Sunday. RK in the building. Stand on purpose. RK, you're with the guys. Who are this right here? Daddy said we should not have any officer now under 300 pounds, which is a great improvement. Also, a great show. All right. The coaches won't have their system, but we will build a system to the max, to the effect of the current function, which is shouldn't be being. All right. I want to thank everybody for your super chat. Thank everybody for tuning in right now. All right. Let's oh yeah. Okay. I watched once again, I watched another show of yours. I think I watched this show Friday night. You did an interview. You and Jake had Corey Phillips and Malika Slayton on there. I remember. I think. Yeah. What did you take from them about recruiting?
Ooh, that's a great question. Because there's just so many great little tidbits about from them. One, I think that it's a remarkable production recruiting, and all of the effort that they put into it, and all of the thought that they put into it, and the planning, and all of that. And then obviously, in the end, it all comes down to execution. But I was really, really impressed just with how the way that the confidence and the swagger that they carried themselves with, as we talk about them as one of the best, if not the best, recruiting staffs in the country. But the way that they just kind of spoke so clearly and confidently about what they were trying to do and how they were executing it was really, really impressive to me. And I just think that they are a really special staff, from going back to it's coming up a lot this offseason from a chemistry standpoint. That recruiting group spends a lot of time together, and they get along so well. And the way that they want to pass credit and praise onto the next person constantly. If you ever give one of them a compliment, they'll just deflect it to another person that's part of that staff.
I
And
saw that.
yeah, and it's really, really impressive to me, the selflessness that they have. And I think it's something that honestly, not just the football team, but everyone in life can learn from, just when it comes to working as part of a team, whether that's in sports or in a job. It's just like, it's not about who gets credit for doing what. It's about getting to the ultimate goal. And I think that that group specifically is just a beacon when it comes to that idea of making sure that there's no ego involved. It's just about getting the job done, and it doesn't matter who gets the credit for it. And I love that about them.
Right. That's why I took that interview also too. Big Tiger Media got a super chat. Show me a championship team. I can show you a few good linebackers. CU runs the Big 12. All right. Appreciate that, Big Tiger. Uh, Coach Dre, who will be the punt returner for CU?
Here's where I was trying. Here's where I was thinking that you get the freshman on the field. I think it'll be either Draylon or Cam McHale. Uh, I think that's where you get a chance to get the freshman on the field in special teams. So I think it'll be either one of those guys back deep on punt return. That's who I got. I got one of the freshmen, either Cam McHale or Draylon Miller, either one.
Okay, you think they're gonna beat out LeJohntay West?
I mean, I think LeJohntay's gonna have I think he'll be deep on kickoff return. I just think that's a way to get the freshmen on the field
I got you.
to get their feet wet. Uh, and so that's just me thinking as a football coach. I think that's the way I could get those guys get one of those guys on the football field. Whoever isn't the other deep man on the kickoff return, because I think Webster will be one of them. I think Cam McHale or Draylon will be the other deep man, and then the other one will do the punt return duties. That's just my thoughts.
Okay, who's gonna be the kickoff return then? Okay.
Yeah, I think Jimmy Horn will start returning kickoffs, and maybe you also have Draylon back there, like Coach Dre said, trying to get the ball in those freshmen's hands and allowing them to show off their playmaking skills. I do think LeJohntay will be a big part of the punt return game, but if you remember last year, they did mix it up a little bit. They tried a few different things. I think they had Dylan back there. They obviously had Zay back there. Jimmy, I think, might have even caught one. And then I think it's possible that in a situation where they really need a big play, you might see Travis Hunter get back there and return a punt or a kick.
Whoa, okay. Whoa, okay.
You could
Did
spend
I
a whole
not?
game
Did I
trying
not
to
tell
get
you
him.
that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I told B Watts this. I told B Watts when we talked about the Heisman
Yeah, you
Trophy.
did.
I said we got to get him back there maybe once or twice to have a Heisman moment, because Travis Hunter gets a punt return and he's having the kind of year we think he's going to have. And he takes a punt return to the house. It's a Heisman type moment.
Yep, exactly. And I was just
Wow,
gonna
boy.
add, like, you can spend a whole game trying to get Travis some space in the open field, and the defense, can spend their whole game trying to stop you from doing that. But at a certain point, you might just say, all right, we're going to put him back there and allow him to have some open space to run around. And he has obviously one of the craziest bags of tricks when it comes to moves and getting himself out of tackles and things like that. So I think it's possible, only in a moment where you really need it. But I
Okay.
think you got a chance to see him do something crazy like that.
Okay. Yeah. That's the only time I want to see him. Let's see, they gotta have him back there. Okay, check this out. So far, of what you've seen of CU this year, even though without the pass, who has the best? Who's the best pass rusher off the edge for CU?
I love this question because I don't think the answer is very obvious. I think there's a few different ways you could go here, and I would like the answer. And we've actually even seen that. You've got different kind of like national analysts coming out with their picks for certain things and whatnot, and you're seeing different people get nominated. I saw one publication had Deion Hayes as the best edge rusher of the group. I saw another one had Samuel Okunlola as the best one of the group. For me, I've got BJ Green. The
Okay.
way that he has shown himself in just the one-on-ones that we've seen, and obviously it's no pads, but it's the best we've got to go off of so far, just watching these guys work, especially since he got there. He's been really, really impressive to me. Super, super just active with his feet. Got a bunch of different moves. As you've seen him use the spin move. He loves putting that like tornado emoji out there as kind of his signature move, but also you've seen him rip. You've seen him, do a couple different things that I've been impressed with. So he's number one for me right now. But I love the fact that you could go a few different ways from this, and I don't think you'd be necessarily wrong.
Okay. All right. What about you, Coach Dre?
I mean, he hit it on the head. I think it's those three, and I don't think whoever you pick is the wrong answer. Uh, BJ Green has showed you the versatility, and that's the thing that I like. I've seen him inside, I've seen him outside, and every time I've seen him, he's coming with that dog mentality. Again, he has something you can't teach. You can't teach what he has, that grit, that edge he got to himself. The same thing with the kid from Pitt. He likes to talk. He believes he's the best defensive end in the country. If
Right.
you sat him down, he would tell, and you asked him who the best defensive end in the country, he definitely say himself. I like to see the battles between him and Benson because iron sharpens iron, and I
Right.
think that was the one thing RK I think we missed last year. I didn't think we didn't have that kind of competition. And so you see the competition that breeds greatness. That's what breeds greatness that people don't really know. Iron sharpening iron. I'm not trying to look to go against nobody else. You say you the best over here. I want to go against you. Nobody's
Oh yeah.
dunking anybody,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what you go. And that's what you want to see from your guys. So like I say, with any three of those, you can't go wrong. But right now for me, it's BJ because he's doing it outside and inside, and I think he's going to be a problem for a lot of offensive linemen this season.
Also, when you look at Khalil Benson and Dayon Hayes go ahead, boy, they putting on some battles, man.
Yep.
They calling each other out and everything, and they stepping up to the plate. So what you think, Rob, on that
I
defense end of that?
I love the competition, man. I love to see people, jumping off the screen, wanting to be in that battle, and not just sitting in the back or trying to take the easiest route and take the easier matchup. They want to put out against the best, because one thing, once you get to practice, once they get to camp, the one's going to be going against the two's going to be going against the ones. So you're not going to get to see those matchups. So anytime you can get to see those matchups, it's a brilliant thing to see.
Okay. All right, guys, we got 15 more minutes. We're gonna wrap this thing up. All right. You all right with that, RK?
Yes, sir.
All right. Check this out. We're gonna switch tunes a little bit. Colorado basketball team had some players that got drafted. I don't know if y'all was up to date on that, but okay, I think you up on it. I seen you post some stuff about it. So tell us about some of the players that got drafted from Colorado basketball team.
Yeah, man, super excited for these guys. Obviously, Cody Williams was the first one off the board, going to Utah. Just a really really gifted athlete, and it's kind of that he was banged up last season for a lot of it, just because it took a while for us to kind of see him start to play into his skills and find his groove at that level. But he's certainly a really gifted player. Obviously, his brother's in the NBA too, so excited for him. Tristan Da Silva, I think, was probably the most NBA ready player of the bunch, going to the Magic. The Magic low key putting together kind of a scary roster there. They just took my boy KCP from the Nuggets, so that'll be really interesting. He's super super skilled offensively. Probably have to work a little bit on his defensive game at the NBA level, but I think he can come in and score off the bench right away. Excited for him. And then my guy, the one who I'm saying eventually I think will end up have the best career, is the last one to get drafted in the second round. But KJ Simpson, we were just talking about BJ Green being a dog. That is KJ Simpson to a T. A guy who's been considered undersized most of his life, got passed over, for the high recruiting rankings because of that. Ends up coming to Colorado, putting himself in the Pac-12 Player of the Year conversation this last year. Probably should have won it. Had the buzzer beater against Florida in March Madness. Just one of those guys that you want on your team. And I think people worry about him defensively at the next level because of his size, but he's so tenacious, and he's never going to let anyone put more effort than him out there. And I think that'll serve him really well. So I think that he has a good chance to be a long-time NBA player, just being, a strong, maybe backup guard, but with the potential to become a starter.
Okay. Before you go, Rob, Maria S said, great show, guys. It's good to see RK on the panel tonight. Scope up by $10 super chat. Thank you. All right, Rob, it's on you.
Man, you gotta to see three guys, especially two of them, come through the program and work their way up to the NBA level, man. It's a good thing to see. Because one of the things that with Tabor is, can you get to the NBA with Colorado? Helping Coach Prime being there is helping them in recruiting, not just on the men's side, but on the women's side. Don't forget about the women, that made it to the WNBA. Now, they didn't fully make the rosters, but they got training camp deals to go. So I don't want to not shed light on the women's, because the women's got a great program just as well as the men's program too.
Yeah, and I would just add that Coach.
Hey, go ahead.
That Coach Boyle has now put 10 players in the NBA since he got to Colorado.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yep, and I growing up, I think we had one or two who made it to the league, like during my childhood before Coach Boyle got there. So he has made a habit of taking in 3-star players and putting them in the NBA, and that's a hell of a testament to his development and his coaching ability. And obviously, probably at this point, the crown jewel of that is Derek White, who just won a championship with the Celtics.
True.
And
Good point.
if they're not in the NBA, they're overseas playing. I'm familiar with a couple of them. Super close to a couple of former Buff basketball players that's overseas playing. So he puts them overseas as well. So it's up and up for the Colorado basketball team for sure.
Okay, Coach Dre. Bronny,
Again,
he got drafted. And Bronny James got drafted. A lot of people don't think he deserved to get drafted, but he got drafted. What you think about Bronny James getting drafted by the Lakers?
At the end of the day, the kid got drafted. I don't understand why people in this world are so negative and try to bring the kid down in his moment. That's that kid's moment. It's not like he wasn't a good player. And here's the caveat for all of this. Y'all forgot this kid had a heart attack, almost 6-7 months ago and almost died.
True.
You understand me? So when you sit here and you try to bring this kid down because you feel like his daddy made a way for him to make it to the NBA, hey, however you feel. But God got we on a purpose. God got a purpose on this kid's life because he let him stay here. He couldn't have been. He almost wasn't here. So for people to just rain on this kid's parade is sad. I'm gonna say it again. It's sad. I'm happy for the kid. I think he's gonna surprise a few people because you got to understand that LeBron's gonna put LeBron spent $1 million on his body. You don't think he's gonna spend that and more to make sure that Bronny ready for the NBA, to make sure that he has the tools necessary? Now, again, and I think that's our problem. I'm not expecting Bronny to be LeBron James. I want him to be the best Bronny he can be. Let's stop trying to make this kid act like he's going to be LeBron James. He's going to be the best Bronny he can be. And we got to be satisfied with that. I think he's going to shock some people. I like his game. I think if he doesn't have that health setback, I think he gets more minutes at UCLA. I think he's in better shape. But just the testimony that this kid has, the strength and the fortitude that this guy had to make it back to play college basketball and to be able to be picked in the NBA draft, hey, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with it. I have nothing bad to say about it. I think Stephen A. said something, and a lot of people don't like it, but nepotism goes on a lot elsewhere, and nobody says anything about it. But now because LeBron, they feel like LeBron did this for his child. But let me ask you a question. If that's your child and you can do it for your child, when you do the same thing? And I'm not saying that LeBron did that, but I'm saying if it's your child and you can do the same thing when you do it for your child. And then when you hear Rich Paul say, I just want to hear Bronny didn't care about what number, where he was picked. He said, I just want to hear my name called. I just want to hear my name called. He got that. Now he got to go out here and prove it. So that I'm just happy for the kid.
True. Rod, then okay. Question, both of y'all. Question, both of y'all. I'm getting away from LeBron. Coach Dre said it better than anybody can say. Kayla Clark, Angel Reese, the impact they done made on the WNBA.
They made a major impact to the women's game. It's put more light. It's put more fans to watch it. It's brought a market to them on what they needed to help grow the game. Not just grow the game for this year, but grow the game for years to come, helping the WNBA expand the market ship. It's huge, right? When you talk about the girls from Colorado that could have made it to the league, they'd have been on a team had it been 2 more teams this year and been playing and getting quality minutes. So it just brings more opportunity to the WNBA, the market ship, and just the expansion of the league and revenue. So it's a lovely thing to see that the women are finally starting to get their just dues in this sport.
Yeah, I mean, you said it really well. It's really cool because it's one of the great things that happens in sports where there's like a rivalry or a head-to-head competition that takes place in college, and then it moves into the NBA and everyone can follow it, or it moves into the NFL and everyone can follow it, and it's a fun storyline to follow. I think that's what we've got going on with those two. It's like it was fun to follow when they were in college. And now they get to the WNBA, and everyone wants to continue to follow it. And I think honestly, what they've done, and we could talk for a while about the reasons why people are paying attention now because of them. But what they've done is shed a great light on just the quality of competition that is taking place in the WNBA. I think a lot of people thought that Caitlin Clark could just waltz in and it would look easy for her, and she's obviously showing well for herself, as is Angel Reese. But what people are realizing is like, oh man, there's some real hoopers out here. And so I think you're getting, some of their light is reflecting on the league as a whole, and I think it's a really cool thing to see.
All right. Hey, you watching Sports Talk with BWatts Entertainment. Got a special guest tonight, RK, DNVR, along with RobDaManMedia and the legendary himself, Coach Dre. We finna move into a section that we do every Sunday. I think we mentioned last Sunday, rapid fire. I only got 4 questions that we're gonna go around the horn. Everybody just give me your answer. Then once we get through with that, we're gonna pivot back and end with Colorado football, and we're gonna talk about the quarterback, Shadur Sanders, and the wide receiver, uh, Hunter. And then we're gonna end the show. All right, fellas? All right, here we go. Start me off, Coach Dre, RK, then Raw. That's how we're gonna go on these questions. All right, we're gonna stay with Denver Broncos since we got RK on here. Denver Broncos. When you look at the Denver Broncos in the past and you look at their defensive back, who you like? Who the best? Who had a better career? Who was a better player for Denver at that time? All right, defensive back. Dennis Smith or Steve Atwater? Can't think long. You think long,
Steve
think wrong.
Atwater. Steve
Good
Atwater.
answer. It's no right or wrong answer. Talk to me, RK.
Atwater.
I agree, Atwater.
So y'all telling me he had a better career than Dennis Smith? Dennis Smith have a 6-time Pro Bowler.
If you would have put Champ Bailey in there, I probably would have.
No, that been too easy. There, everybody was there. Yeah. So, y'all, the chat. I need y'all to help me out because I don't think they did their research. I think y'all went by name recognition. All right,
I
I'm gonna
did.
answer
I
this
just
question again. No, I don't want to rush it. Steve Smith was a 6-time Pro Bowler. He had 14 years of playing now. Dennis Smith or Steve Atwater? Come on, Rod, talk to me.
Well, I'm staying with my same answer.
Okay. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's close. Those two were both amazing, but I'm rocking with Steve.
Gotcha. Talk to me, Coach.
I mean, it's Atwater. I mean, when I turn on the tape, and then like I said, there's no disrespect to Smith because I think he's a hell of a ball player, a hell of a cornerback. But Atwater was something special to watch for the Denver Broncos in those years. So yeah, you got to go with Atwater.
Okay, I'm going with Smith. All right, linebacker group. You got Al Smith, who was a terrorist out there. You got Carl Mecklenburg, and you got Von Miller. RK, who you got?
It's tough just because you said Al Wilson, Carl Mecklenburg.
Al Wilson, Carl Mecklenburg, and Von Miller.
It's tough to compare those guys just because Al, was that amazing inside linebacker. Carl Mecklenburg played everywhere. I mean, he played
Everywhere.
he played in defensive tackle, defensive end, inside linebacker, outside linebacker. I think there was at one point he played all of those positions in one game, but
Broken hand, broken elbow.
yeah. Oh, it's tough for me to go against it, but I think I got to go Vaughn here. Go with Vaughn here, man. I think Vaughn's eventually a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Good answer. Coach Dre?
I mean, it's Von Miller because what he did for the position, he's a freak of nature, and like you say, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like I say, it's hard to go against Mecklin because when you think of a guy that did all of that, played all of those positions, and I'm with RK. I think he did it one time in one game. He played all of those positions. So it's hard to go against a guy like that. But when you're talking about a first ballot Hall of Famer, it's not many of those. It's not many of those.
True.
Von Miller for me. It ain't nothing for me to debate on it.
Yeah.
All right, start me out, Rod. Start me out. Denver Broncos quarterback, Peyton Manning or John Elway?
I'm going John Elway.
One season, yeah, one good season. Who you want?
I'm going John Elway. His years in Denver, it's hard to compare against Peyton Manning because he was like in his prime in Denver versus you're taking a Peyton Manning who was at the end of his career, on strip going down, but because he's in Colorado, the ball's moving farther because of the altitude, things like that. So I'm going John Elway. More athleticism, they can get out. It can get you more. It can do more things. I'm going John Elway.
Okay, talk to me.
If the question is who's the better Denver Broncos quarterback, the answer is John Elway. If the question is who am I starting a franchise with, I'm taking Peyton Manning.
I agree.
Good answer. Coach Dre?
That's it. I mean, when we talking about Denver, if you just straight talking about Denver Broncos, it's Elway. It ain't even close. But like RK said, we talking about starting a football team and a guy you want under the center. You got to go with Peyton Manning. You got to go with the sheriff.
Yeah, probably arguably the smartest football player of all time.
Gotcha. I agree with you on that. Wide receiver, look at Denver Broncos, Rod Smith, Shannon Sharp. RK. Rod Smith, Shannon Sharp.
Rod Smith was my favorite player growing up, so I'm going with Rod.
God.
He making it hard for RK.
Hey, RK, he live in Denver. Hey, he won't get that hamburger name out. Talk to me, Rod.
I'm going Rod Smith. I love Shannon Sharp, man. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going Rod Smith.
I mean, well, I'm gonna just be odd because what Shannon Sharp did for the tight end position, I think he realized it. I think he opened the door for the Antonio Gates and the Gonzalez's and everybody, the Kelseys and everybody else that you see at tight end right now. I just don't believe there's any of those guys if there's no Shannon Sharp. So I'm going with Shannon.
And I'll just add, I'm being biased there just because Rod Smith was my guy growing up. I had a Rod Smith jersey and everything. But going back to what I just said on the last question, if I'm starting a franchise, I'm taking Shannon Sharp.
Sure. Good answer. I was wondering when you gonna come back home. You did good on that one. Okay. You redeemed yourself. Don't forget his brother is tuning in, so I had to throw that question in. So, what's up, Sterling? What's going on? I see you over there on LinkedIn. I'm looking at it right here. What's up, Sterling? But check this out. Last question with the Denver Broncos. I'm gonna stay with the running back room. Terrell Davis or Clinton Portis? RK.
TD, man, best playoff running back of all time, as far as I'm concerned. So Clinton Portis had a hell of a run.
He did, right? He did.
It's TD all day. It's TD all day.
Rob?
I'm going with who brought the championship to Denver, man. I'm going TD. Now I do love Clinton Portis though. I love Clinton Portis.
I thought that's where you were gonna go.
I love Clinton Portis, but we talking about the Denver Broncos. He brought the title, man. You can't knock that. He brought the title.
I got you. Talk to me, Coach Dre.
I already know what Dre gonna say. I ain't gotta say
nothing. I already know that too. We already know.
Listen, again, I can't go out east if I don't say Clinton Portis.
I knew you gonna say that.
Hey, listen, hey baby, and hey TD, no disrespect, bro, but it's my boy from the house, and I can't go out east if I don't say Clinton Portis. So Clinton Portis.
RK, best college football program: Miami Hurricanes or Florida State Seminoles?
You're putting me on the spot here. I'm gonna upset someone.
That's what we do over here.
I'll just say this: growing up, the U was like easily the coolest football team in the world. So I'll lean Miami here.
All right, Coach Prime, listen to him. He watching. He watching. He watching. Okay. Talk to me, Rob.
Hey,
I'm
those
going.
Florida State fans have done him dirty recently, so
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
know.
he'll be as mad at me.
Yeah. Talk to me, Rob.
I'm going with the U on this one. I'm going with the U. Now I love it. You know, I'm going to U. I ain't even think about. I'm going with the U.
I go to Florida State all the way. I'm Florida State. Talk to. I already know what Coach Drake is saying. Ain't me. Go ahead, Coach Drake.
Hey, listen. Listen. If you go to my page, you'll see my high school. I bleed that orange and green. I bleed that orange and green. So, it's the youth for me, and it's just because what they did, what they did in the '80s, the way they set the trend. And like I said, there's no disrespect to Florida State. They're a hell of a dynasty. They're a hell of a dynasty. But when you talk about college football, the first pick, and you talk about them boys. You talking about them boys from down there in Miami, Florida, Dade County, the University of Miami. That's where it's at. So yeah, it's the U.
Appreciate y'all with that little short rapid fire. We used to do about 12, 15 questions. But I just shortened up because we're running for time. We're going to end it by talking about Shadua Sanders and Travis Hunters. What's your take on the quarterback, Shadua Sanders, okay? And then we'll go around the horn. What kind of season you expecting him to have this year?
A Heisman caliber season is what I'm expecting him to have. You look back at last season, and I don't think he gets enough credit. Well, I think he does in real NFL circles, and I think he does in Colorado circles. But just when it comes to fans on the national or talking heads on the national standpoint, he doesn't get enough credit for throwing 27 touchdowns to 3 interceptions while getting sacked 52 times, man. The combination of being willing to stand in there and make those throws while also not rushing it and making bad decisions that lead to interceptions, while also getting knocked on your tail time and time and time again and getting right back up and going out there. I just don't think people realize how hard that is. You can go and watch tape of quarterbacks over and over again that get battered early in the season, and their numbers just start diminishing more and more and more as the season goes on. I think Shador obviously ended up banged up at the end of the season, but for him to be able to keep those numbers up when he was getting knocked around like that is just crazy. So this year, if you keep him upright, I think it's fair to start thinking and envisioning 40 plus touchdowns and a similar number of interceptions. You look at the weapons that he has out there; it's scary. It's scary for other defenses and for the rest of the country. So I think he's going to go out there and have a Heisman caliber season this year.
Coach Dre, then Rob.
RK hit it on the head. He's gonna have Jackson like numbers. He's gonna have Jackson like numbers and better. Like you say, it takes a hell of a kid to get his butt beat like he got his butt beat last year, and to get up every Saturday and probably played hurt. You know what I'm saying? He probably played hurt for a lot of those games, and that's what you want out of a leader. He didn't cry. He never came out and threw his offensive line under the bus. He got up every day, went to work, brung his hard hat in his lunch pail. I expect 40 touchdowns, about 5 interceptions. We throwing for over 4,000 yards. Uh, that's just what I think, because I think I'm looking at about 20, maybe 20 sacks at the most, if that. And I think if they get that, Khalil Benson and Mears and them boys will be hot. But with him being protected the way he's gonna be protected, I expect 40 touchdowns and at least over 4,000 yards with probably 5 interceptions, and him to be standing in New York, probably hosting the Heisman Trophy.
Good take. Good take. Rob.
I'm expecting perfect timing. That's what I'm expecting. No, I'm just playing. I'm expecting something legendary to happen. Honestly, when you look at Shador Sanders and this Colorado Buffaloes offense, you just put yourself in that Heisman race, just excelling and getting in W's, putting W's on the board, and let's light up every light bulb in the new scoreboard. That's all I expect.
Okay, what you think about Travis Hunter as a football player? Best you ever seen?
Uh, Right up there, man. Right up there. He's one of the most remarkable athletes I've ever seen. And the one thing that I know he's the best I've ever seen at is tracking and attacking the football on either side of the ball. The way that he can find the rock on offense and go and high point it, and obviously the way that he can, bait quarterbacks into throwing him the ball on defense and go get it, no matter where it is legitimately generational. And I hate the term generational because I think he gets thrown around too lightly. He is legitimately a generational player when it comes to those things. You add in the stamina, which I think is so hard for the average person to understand and comprehend, because there's just, no one knows what it's like to be out there and play 140 snaps in a game. But those things make him such a unique player, and I think that this year he's only going to show that more, and get to display it more. I think you're going to see him get more abilities to go win in one-on-one coverage on offense, and you're going to see some of those highlight one-handed catches that we see a lot in practice. But he's an unbelievable football player, and some NFL team that is going to be drafting very, very high is going to get him, and not only get an unbelievable football player, but an unbelievable young man.
For me, when it comes to Travis Hunter, I just think you're gonna see a better version of Travis Hunter, because there's gonna be less pressure on him this year, because we have more foundational pieces around him. Travis Hunter is going to be able to elevate to an even higher level and do more things on that football field than what we seen last year, just based upon the talent, the upgrade of talent around him.
RK hit the biggest thing on the head. When you think about a student athlete, you put Travis Hunter out there. When you think about the best athlete in the country, you put Travis Hunter out there. He's the kid that little kids you should put out there for little kids to say, hey, I want to be like that young man. He's about his business. He's not trying to be anybody else. He's satisfied with what he has. When the best cornerback to ever play the game says he's better than I was when I was his age, tells you all you need to know. But the biggest thing is he is the greatest young man that you've seen in a long time play the game of college football, with the way he carries himself, with the way he handles his business, and the way he loves his teammates. This kid is something that you've probably, most of us, never seen before. And like RK said, he's going to make some NFL team a lot of money on Sundays, because you can sell him to anybody. Travis Hunter can be sold to anybody because he's a great young man. He's what young ladies, he's what mamas want young ladies to bring home. Okay, even though he's finna get married, he's what mamas, or especially a dad of a girl. If my daughter was bringing a young man home, a guy like Travis Hunter, he checks every box. So yeah, besides being a great football player, there's also great tell you how great of a young.
All right. Hey,
Let
that's
me
the
just
show, guys. I appreciate y'all for everything. Definitely want to thank RK for being my guest. I appreciate you for answering back to me. And matter of fact, you be quick with it when you answer back, man. I appreciate that, RK. But RK, tell us something about Jake. How it is working with Jake on DNVR.
Jake's the best, man. He's funny to work with. He's a great guy. We have good laughs. He always comes prepared. He's really easy to work with. Him and I have had great chemistry all the way through, so I love working with the guy. And speaking of Jake, and speaking of Travis Hunter, I wanted to add this to my point about Travis Hunter. Jake talked to Travis's high school coach a couple months back. And one of the things that he said that stuck out to me so much, that doesn't get mentioned enough in these conversations, so I'm going out of my way to mention it here. His coach said that, you can track how many hours of tape guys are watching. And his coach said that a lot of weeks Travis would be outpacing the assistant coaches in how much film he was watching on a week-to-week basis. And so when we
Wow.
talk about great athletes and this and that, I think a lot of people start to think that that these guys are doing it, and they're doing it and it's easy for them. Travis has all of those natural gifts, and then he's putting in all the work throughout the week that makes it so he can make those plays that we see him make on Saturday. So I always want to mention that because I don't think the mental side of his game gets mentioned enough. But back to Jake, he's the best. I'm stoked to do the show with him every single Monday and beyond, and he's a really good dude.
All right, man. You give him our best and tell him we're gonna be gunning for him on next time. We reach out to one of y'all. Maybe we can get both of y'all at the same time. But until then, we're gonna go around the horn for the last word. We'll start off with Rob, then we'll go with RK, then we'll go with Coach Drake, and then I'll end it. Go ahead, Rob. Last words.
First of all, salute to RK for jumping on with us this Sunday. As we do this every Sunday, man, we always appreciate every guest that comes with us because we know how valuable y'all time are and what y'all could be doing. So it's nothing but love and appreciate you for jumping on with us because we appreciate that so dearly. And for everybody, make sure y'all go subscribe to the DVNR. Go subscribe to BWatts, and also if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to RobDaManMedia because me and Coach Dre, we do this, every other day. So, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in as always.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. First and foremost, to me, the greatest thing about sports is the community that is around it. And I've said it time and time again. My favorite part about the Coach Prime era has been the way that the community around Colorado football has grown and the different people that I've got to interact with and hang out with. So, including tonight, this has been a blast. I appreciate you guys. And the last thing I'll say is, get ready for Colorado football this year because a lot of people who think that this team is not going to be good are going to have a very bad time. And those of us who are expecting greatness are going to have a really good time.
All right. All right, Coach Drake.
As always, man, RK, bro, I appreciate you coming on and rocking with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, man, but you decided to come and rock with these brothers of mine. As I tell y'all all the time, I'm just a nobody, man. I'm just a nobody trying to support my brothers, trying to put y'all out there in a positive way and let y'all know that anything is possible. But as I always tell you, if you send no ships out, no ships will come in. And if there's no contest, nobody can win. Games can't be won if they haven't been played, and prayers can't be answered if they haven't been prayed. I am your man, Coach Dre. That is my man, BWatts. That's my brother, Rob the Man. That's my guy, RK. Hey, peace and blessings to you all. See you next Sunday.
All right. I want to thank each one of y'all for tonight. Like I say, appreciate your RK, Rob the Man Meeting, Coach Drake. Always remember, share whatever you have with your sisters and your brothers. You always have more than enough to wish to share. And if you be good to God, God will be good to you. And until next time, y'all be blessed. Appreciate you, RK. Blessing to you,
Appreciate you.
man. Blessing to you and Jake, my brother. I'll be reaching out to you. I'll send you a message.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.